Hello, and welcome to this special Christmas episode of Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 5 of Toradora. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. Alright, so it seems like things are going to get a little bit of interesting. It's Golden Week, which is basically a week of holidays, and Taiga is sort of stuck inside and bored, so it seems to me that that is ripe for trouble. Man, spilling the soup isn't a big deal, but spilling the soup on herself, that's a big problem. Man, I feel kind of bad for Ryuji sometimes, because he has to deal with both his mom and Taiga, each of whom is difficult in their own ways. One really has to wonder what sort of horrible things Ryuji did in a past life. Alright, so Ryuji, he's playing the long game here. So I find it interesting that Ryuji had taken advantage of that stained dress in order to squeeze a favor out of Taiga. Even if it was all for naught, it makes it seem like, despite usually being the put-upon person in this scenario, he's at least somewhat cognizant of how to get ahead, even if he's not always successful. Ooh. Ryuji's bringing up the whole short business. That's dangerous. But if that weren't dangerous enough, it seems that the model from that magazine has decided to enter the establishment they're currently eating at. So one has to wonder what a catalog model would be doing in what is seemingly just like a pretty ordinary place. Surely there must be a good reason for it. Oh dear. Good reason indeed. Seems like she's on a date with Kitamura. Which, when you really get down to it, is truly bad news for Ryuji and Taiga. That really throws a wrench in their plans of romance, I guess. Man, everything is just going to hell in a handbasket. Kitamura is taken by a tall model of all people, and he seems to think that Taiga and Ryuji are dating, too. So that truly is counterproductive. Now, interestingly enough, Kitamura just sort of says that, she's merely a childhood friend, but I don't know, childhood friends tend to have romantic involvement with people, at least as far as anime tropes go. So if nothing else, she presents some definite competition for Taiga. So, something about this whole arrangement strikes me as a little bit false. Kitamura's friend is apparently very nice. Kind, slightly airheaded, but I feel the kindness makes up for that somewhat, but I don't know. Something about it seems artificial to me. Because I feel like you don't get to be a model of some fame without being shrewd and ruthless. It doesn't seem to me you can get that far while still maintaining an air of innocence and naivety. Oh. Alright, so Kitamura's being all cloak and dagger here about pretending to go to the bathroom. I'm wondering what his angle is here. Is he playing some sort of 4D chess here? Okay, so it seems like Kitamura is well aware that she is in fact not a very nice person, and that entire personality was a facade constructed by her. To his credit, he seems really down on that whole aspect of her personality. Of course, picking on Taiga is not advisable. I feel like she's gonna, punch her right in the face or something and break her nose. Ooh, sour grapes. She only cares about Ryuji when he's potentially Taiga's boyfriend, but when it turns out he's not, she doesn't really matter. Man, she really is abhorrent. Oh dear, she's really going out of her way to just push all of Taiga's buttons. It seems to me that peace is not an option. Wow, okay, yeah. Violence was inevitable, I suppose. Personally, I'm surprised Taiga merely slapped her rather than just, punching her full on in the face. Or diving over the table or something. Man, Kitamura's got his work cut out for him where he sort of has to, I guess, play dumb and pretend he doesn't know she's really a horrible person. I guess this interesting development could work out in everyone's favor. Taiga really just needs to show that she's a better person. If she manages to do that, she could get herself in Kitamura's good graces pretty easily, one would think. Oh dear. Seems to me that's a fair bit of foreshadowing. You know, we're never going to see her again, so naturally she's going to transfer into their class, I'd imagine. Oh dear. Alright, so the real question now is, what's going to happen next? Is she just going to be a covert jerk in secret in class and try and trip Taiga up? I'd imagine she would. She seems like the type. Now, the real question is, what's Taiga gonna do? Is she gonna just, go 0 to 60, or what? So I'd imagine there's only so much she'd be willing to do in public. Despite her fearsome reputation, I'd imagine there are some social boundaries she's not willing to cross. Man, Ami's already trying to ingratiate her with all the other girls. That is just scummy behavior. Alright, so at least Minori knows what's going on, too. Albeit in a weird, roundabout sort of way. Man, that really is a carefully constructed facade. I'm not stupid, I just act stupid sometimes. Alright, so Kitamura's really playing fourth dimensional chess here, He wanted her to sort of tell on herself, and so he didn't drop the bombshell that he knew she was transferring in. Now, I guess to Kitamura's credit, the whole purpose behind exposing her is to get her to stop being such an awful person and grow and change. And that is admirable, but I don't know. You can't force someone to change unless they want to. Alright, so this here is one of the classic persuasion techniques, She implicates him in her crime through essentially bribing him with a drink, so she's sort of trying to ingratiate herself to him. The idea being, I've done you a favor, so you owe me a favor in the future. Alright. So it's interesting how she's framing this as, I screwed up because I'm an airhead. Yeah, this is really insidious, She's saying this whole episode happened, but it was all my fault, don't be mad at her. Subtly implying that Taiga was the one in the wrong here. Fortunately for Ryuji, he can see through all of this. Although one has to wonder that if he didn't know the score, what exactly was going on here, if he wouldn't have been fooled by something like this. Because on the one hand, I feel like he's too cynical, but on the other hand, it's also a woman he's talking to, and he has a hard enough time maintaining composure as it is. So I feel like he'd go along with it just by virtue of being flustered. Oh dear. People are passing notes, and now Ryuji is getting caught up in competing interests. So it's interesting that Minori is still laboring under the delusion that Ryuji and Taiga are dating, even though I'm pretty sure the crux of one of her big scenes in a previous episode was, sorry about spreading that rumor. Uh-oh. Ryuji might have opened up a can of worms here. I'm surprised at the level of cloak and dagger and subterfuge going on in this episode, with everybody sort of covertly talking to each other, trying to figure out other people's opinions and thoughts without asking what they really mean. It basically reminds me about all the things I really hated about high school. Alright, I feel like this is gearing up for more trouble. Ami's gonna do something, and Taiga's gonna escalate the arms race, I feel like. Okay, here we go. Ami's just gonna push the issue. I'm better than you. No one likes you. Alright. So Taiga's fighting back in kind now. Rather than resorting to violence, she's just, threatening her psychologically. And it seems to be working. It seems like she's really trying to grasp at straws here. Unfortunately for her, it seems that she's finally struck a nerve. Oh, I pity her. Alright, well, I was wrong. I figured Taiga would, smack her head on the desk or something. Seems instead she's gone rather catatonic. Man, she's not even showing up for dinner, so it seems like she really is suffering. Not like her to pass up on free food or anything. Yeah, things really aren't good. Taiga normally, I guess, keeps her emotions in check. At least when that emotion isn't anger. Fortunately for her, the whole thing was a big fat lie, and Ryuji is privy to that. Well, okay, I guess status quo is back to normal. Find it funny how Taiga invoked the name of Sailor Mercury. I hadn't thought about that. His Ami, that was her name. Both this character and the character from Sailor Moon. One has to wonder if Taiga's mentioning characters like that, does that mean Sailor Moon is a canonical fictional series in this world, and is Tiger a secret fan of it? Food for thought. Oh, what have we here? Something discreditable, surely, for a model of her stature. Alright, so the plot thickens. Ami, despite her horrible personality, isn't a model anymore. One has to wonder what precisely is going on. Every time something sort of starts to become clear, there's a new wrinkle that's added. Alright, that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. Merry Christmas, Space Cowboy.